Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here, playing Resident Evil 2. This is the Ghost Survivors DLC, and in this video I'll be showing you how to grab the Hell of a Sheriff achievement / trophy, which is for completing the No Way Out scenario with no training mode enabled. Now the first thing you're going to want to do in order to get this mode unlocked is to beat the first three modes, No Time to Mourn, Runaway, and Forgotten Soldier. You can play those on training mode in order to unlock the No Way Out scenario. There are also some Mr. Raccoons spread out throughout these levels. I have a separate video guide for those if you're looking to grab both of the available achievements or trophies. Now, the No Way Out scenario puts us inside of the very claustrophobic gas station from the beginning of the A playthrough of the game. And what we need to do here is survive a horde of 100 zombies and make sure to kill them. We are given minimal things, but the most important thing we have is a handgun with infinite ammo, and that's what we're going to try to rely on for the vast majority of our kills, only resorting to other things when necessary or when getting overrun by enemies. Now you can try to memorize exactly which zombie comes from where at what point, and you should obviously know how each of the zombies are going to try to attack you and from when and where, but generally you want to always be either working your way towards a zombie you know you're going to kill or away from a zombie, as long as you know that there is not another one behind you. Also, learning their lunge distance is incredibly important, as you want to be able to run by them at some points knowing that you won't get attacked while not wasting your ammo or not trying to back yourself into a corner. So it's important to kind of know how to bait the enemies and then run around them when possible. And there is also a little bit of RNG involved, as some of the enemies, like you see on screen, do carry a backpack that they will drop upon being killed. You can inspect that backpack, and you will have to do a little bit of item management on the go, as there will probably be more backpacks and more items on the ground than things you can carry at the same time, especially if you rely heavily on your pistol in the early rounds. So keep track of what's been dropped, keep track of where it is, keep track of what you're going to need and what you currently need as you play through. Additionally, managing your healing items is pretty important. When you pick up herbs from any of the backpacks, make sure you're combining them in logical ways. There are sometimes poison enemies that show up in the later rounds, and you will need to use the blue herb at some points to rinse yourself of poison if you get hit by them. Additionally, as you see on screen, some of the enemies have explosive backpacks. You can either try to take them out and let them drop. They're kind of little explosive canisters, or you can try to just shoot the explosives right off their back in order to cause an explosion. This is a really great way to clear out a large amount of enemies in the area, and you won't damage yourself with the explosion, so you want to keep that in mind. You can kind of almost think of these as traps that you can set up if you can put them on the ground in the right places. And again, you can try to use these whenever you want, but it's probably recommended that you use the explosives and the explosions to clear a large group of enemies at the same time. You can even lure these backpack explosive zombies to a door that you know enemies are going to spawn from in order to almost set up a bit of a trap. Additionally, you'll want to keep in mind that any of the kind of higher level weapons can be discarded in this mode. So if you are close to running out of ammo and you know there's another gun on the ground, make sure you just use all of that ammo, discard the weapon, and then go pick up your next weapon. Now, as a general strategy, we're trying to use our pistol as much as possible, but there are certain types of enemies that are very hard to deal with using the pistol. These include the kind of really light-skinned zombies that are typically naked, and also any zombie that comes in armored. These are going to be your biggest threats because they take the most ammo, like I said, and they're going to be most likely to attack you or get you caught into a corner. And these are probably the zombies that you're going to want to use any of your kind of special ammo on. So if you pick up a shotgun or a spark shot or a flamethrower, save these weapons for these zombies specifically, or if you need to, make sure you use one of those explosive packs on the ground when necessary. Additionally, when you get attacked, keep in mind that you can counter with something like a flashbang, but you don't need to. It is actually a really good strategy to keep a flashbang for later on if you do get kind of overcome by a lot of enemies at once. Sometimes it's better to take the extra damage if you know you have the herb you need to heal up, instead of expending your flash grenade for later. Also, when crafting herbs, keep in mind that the red herb is incredibly important to your defense, and this basically allows you to get grabbed and take half the damage you would normally take. So if you know there's a certain section coming up that is quite difficult, or if you are nearing the 100 enemies grand total, you're definitely going to want to take something with a red herb in it. So that can either be green and red, or red and blue, or green, red, and blue all combined. If you take something with the red, you will up your defense. And again, you will only take half the damage from being grabbed. So instead of being grabbed like 2 times and dying, you can essentially be grabbed close to 4 times, kind of depending on what your health level was at when you took the herb. And you can basically get grabbed double the times. So if you know there's a section where you're either running out of ammo, or there's a section where you don't have the explosives you would typically have, that's when you're going to want to use that red herb for defense. Last but not least, I would highly recommend playing this with a good headset. You can hear a lot of the zombies kind of rustling behind the walls and behind the doors, and often you get a really great audio cue as to where they're going to come from, or where they are actively already coming from. So make sure you use that headset and you listen into the zombie noises, and that'll kind of help you get prepared as well in terms of where they're coming from and where they're going, and if there are any behind you that you need to worry about. Again, make sure to use your spark shot or any of your kind of specialty guns on some of the kind of tougher enemies, so the pale enemies or any of the armored enemies. Now, obviously, it gets trickier and trickier as you play. The first 40 enemies are a lot easier to get through than the last 40 enemies. You want to take your time, but obviously time is of the essence, because you kind of have to clear zombies quickly or else you will get overrun. Hopefully these kind of more general tips will help you, but additionally, I would highly recommend watching the rest of the video kind of play out. It will give you a lot of small strategies that you'll kind of pick up on in terms of how to lure the zombies down certain aisles, how to use the counter where there is like a food pickup in a useful way to kind of get zombies to follow you around and create almost like a chain behind you. There's a lot of small tips and tricks you might pick up on by watching the rest of the video, and I would highly recommend you do that, and then you can go for it, and hopefully you get your 100 zombies. And as soon as you get to your 100, it will basically immediately end. You'll get to an end screen, you'll unlock your achievement or trophy. It'll give you some stats about how long it took you and how many handgun bullets you fired. And hopefully it didn't give you too much trouble, but it does take quite a bit of skill, a little bit of luck, and a decent amount of strategy. So thank you guys for watching. A special thanks to David Mebus for capturing the footage for this video. Special thanks to the amazing people on Patreon for supporting the show. Shout out to Double O, and hopefully I see you guys next time. Peace.
Wow.